Welcome back to another episode of Expat Rebel. Today I'm going to share with you the 2023 Retirement Index is out. The USA FAA shutting down. Delta releases a bunch of new changes and then immediately apologized for all the recent changes. Bright Ideas in Travel 2023, and Google's AI now has the capability to travel plan. And more Expat Rebel news. Hey, everybody, welcome back to a double issue. I've been off for a week, relaxing, and I am back. And if are you wanting to become an expat soon, then go grab our Expat Rebel guide to becoming an expat in 30 days over at expatrebel.com/30. And if you love what we're doing, please support us over at expatrebel.com/join. We're a community and we'd love for you to join us. All the articles I'm going to be mentioning are in the show notes. Let's get started. Someone asked me a question recently about low cost rentals, under $1,000 US a month. And happened to find what's a Facebook group for my local area. I'm sure there's more of these wherever you're looking for, but just to give you an idea of what people were posting, someone posted a studio for $676 a month US in a nearby town that I'm familiar with. And I know since it's narrow, it's in between a lagoon and Gulf of Mexico, that walking to the beach is only a few minutes at least, but didn't mention it. But that's pretty good. So there are deals like that. I like to see these type of things in person. I did that 6 years before finally buying a home. And I found Airbnb and bookings.com to be really great. I'll also stay at hotels to get used to an area as well before really getting a place to stay for a while. And I also have a new article on visitor tourist visa research, an example up there. Someone asked me about doing that. They were going to Greece and they had a U.S. passport. And so I got some good research there on how to do that. A lot of it comes from the government because they're the one that actually has the final say. And some passports are better than others, and some countries are better about letting certain passports in and others out. So you unfortunately could have a passport that doesn't travel well. But if you're from the US or Canada or probably almost all of Europe, you're pretty much liked. But if you're from some other countries, not so much. But there's charts and figures and on every single country in that article. So go check that out. Now on to travel news. The U.S. House bill would give the FAA a short-term funding extension. Yeah, the U.S. FAA is about to run out of money. And another article has it, if the government shuts down, what would happen? How will it impact my travel plans? And because all the aviation workers, like the traffic control people and the TSA security people, are all federal employees, they will continue while they figure that all out. So there won't be a shutdown. And they've had this problem before. I remember many years ago, I have a friend, dad, that worked for that had that problem. Wow, it was back in the 30s, early 80s or something. Yeah, everything's going to, of course, continue as always. In fact, all the employees will still be paid. You know, that's a government thing. How you can run out of money and still pay? Good question. Next, we have how to beat jet lag according to flight attendants. I would think they're probably the best at doing that besides the pilots. And so they got some really nice tips from them. I really like this idea of taking a nap upon arrival or overnight rest in some cases to instantly reset my internal clock. And some good advice about how to calculate that. In fact, not sleeping the entire flight type of things. You would think that'd be better, but not necessarily. It's a passport doing the current backlog. You should apply earlier than you think. If you don't have a passport, get one now. There are backlogs in the US, probably other countries as well. It can take months, and just get one. They last 10 years for at least the US, and before you can renew it. And always make sure that if you're traveling, you have at least 6 months on it before you get back home. Great article about the bright ideas in travel 2023. All the travel winners that have been announced. This list, very long list, very long article honoring ideas and approaching travel's most pressing issues with thoughtfulness and zeal. Ideas can straddle the realm of tech, design, accessibility, community, inclusion, accessibility, and conservation. From airports making strides towards some type of universal design and destination sharing stewardness of lands with their indigenous people to hotel programs that keep local craft traditions alive and next-gen booking platforms adding personalization items to it. There's 53 of these ideas in this article. It's a great read. Go check that out. Also got, a couple articles on the best luggage of 2023. Yeah, it's it's past midway through 2023. We are the best of travel guide to suitcases and bags, a very extensive list of the best luggage, aka some of it can be quite pricey. And then another article about the best hard shell luggage, which of course is my favorite. I already have some of that. Delta is reducing their Sky Club lounge access to credit card holders. Yep. As of January 1st, 2024, those who hold a basic economy class ticket on a Delta flight will not be allowed access to any of their airport lounges, even if you carry their Platinum card by American Express, Delta Platinum card, or any other co-branded premium credit cards. Those passengers flying in main cabin economy will be eligible. Credit cards still retain access. And of course, there's some travel agents are also unhappy about Delta's loyalty program changes and think they're not going to get awarded because how they changed it is a net impact, and that they could lose some clients who will then just go directly to Delta Vacations because of fine print in there. And then, of course, all these changes that I just told you about, plus last episode, I talked about other Delta changes that they just made, have had the airline send out some regrets on the recent changes. It's rethinking changes. All those that I have announced are being rethought and to their loyalty program because the airline CEO is saying it just goes too far to address huge surge in the ranks of elite frequent flyers. They literally have lines to their airport lounges, and they made a bunch of these changes to reduce that. A lot of people are upset about it. So they're going to think about how to handle that since that did not go over well. Hey, West Maui, Hawaii, travel restrictions have been lifted, will be in October 8th. So if you want to go to Maui, you can very shortly. Google's new AI adds new capabilities in travel planning. So Bard is what it's called, can find and share information from your Gmail, Docs, Drive, Maps, and YouTube as well. And Bard can suggest things like real-time flight and hotel information to users. And Carnival Cruise Line is introducing a vegan menu fleet-wide. Good news if you like to eat healthy while cruising. Maybe not many, but I'm sure there's some in there that like to do that while still cruising. Now let's go to the Expat news. The 2002 Global Retirement Index that came out. It's a very lengthy 74-page glossy thing by the Natixis Global Retirement Index, ranking all the top countries to retire in excruciating detail. If you're interested in that, go check that out. Of course, a lot of the top ones they have in the list are first world countries, very expensive countries, and where you're probably already there, you just want to retire in place. But it's a good, detailed index if you're interested in that. And Starlink is cleared for Costa Rica. It's going to really be nice. It's, of course, been here in Mexico. And I think in an episode or two ago, I told everybody about how the price in Mexico has gone down. Starlink typically does that. When they first launch, it's kind of high. And then once they get stable in the country, they lower the price. But they're just going into Costa Rica. And it's going to be very competitive, though, there, $49 a month with a one-time equipment fee of $499, $500 basically. And you can get average speeds of 130 megabytes. Where I live here, a little bit remote in Mexico, Yucatan, Mexico, I got fiber optics. In fact, I got 2 lines of fiber optics just in case. And I get that and I can get faster. So I'm not doing it. And so it depends on where you go. You really, especially Mexico, you have fiber optics a lot. Even pretty remote places actually have it. But if you don't, Starlink is a really great backup option. Now let's move on to Mexico expat news. There's some great article about how some Canadians moved to Mexico because of the cost of living. Nice article about a bunch of people who found it just to be better in Mexico. And the FAA has restored the top safety rating for Mexico's civil aviation. And most Americans are supporting sending U.S. military to fight the drug cartels in northern border Mexico. Interesting idea. The president of Mexico is not liking it. And there is a nice article about an ideal destination for LGBT tourism in Mexico. It's great. And there's this organization that's embarked on a crusade to transform a magical town into a preferred destination for LGBT tourism, not only nationally, but internationally. And so they're cooperating with hotels and restaurants, travel agencies, and other service providers who will offer discounts and special promotions for this market. So if you're interested in that, the link, of course, all of this in the show notes about this area in Mexico that has this group that is organizing all that. The U.S. and Mexico is clashing over genetically modified corn. I actually thought this was a fight that was finished quite a while ago, but apparently is still continuing. Mexico, because of the heritage and the native tribes here and everything, their non-GMO corn, all different colors and whatnot. And the U.S. doesn't like that. So they're still fighting over that. I found that kind of interesting. The largest species of turtle on Earth is now nesting near Playa del Carmen, Quintana Roo, where I used to live over south of Cancun, Mexico. Some good pictures about how they get really big. And the arrival of the sargassum, what some people call seaweed, continues to decline on the coast of Quintana Roo. There's a prediction that it's going to be moderate the rest of the year to maybe very low in less than a month based on satellite imaging and how many of this stuff they see floating in the Gulf of Mexico heading for Quintana Roo. And nice Mexico, we don't want to sound like a broken record regarding Tulum as the king of real estate scams in Quintana Roo. Yes, it's true. I used to live over there and actually looked at investing in Playa, not really Tulum, because Tulum is really expensive. It doesn't even seem like it's Mexico. It seems even more expensive than California in some regards. But because of all that, there's a lot of real estate scams. So a great article on that if you're interested in investing in Tulum. This kind of applies to Playa del Carmen and Cancun as well. But Tulum is a little bit hotter right now, and they're getting more of these scams. We're seeing a huge uptick in dengue fever, hope I pronounced that right, in Merida and across the Yucatan state. I got some links about an article about it in English, and of course the official reports, which are in Spanish, Mexican government. They've been spraying a lot to minimize this and get it under control. The last time I looked at it a couple of days ago, the reports hadn't been updated in almost 2 weeks, and so hopefully it's gone. We really got a lot of mosquitoes. I live on the beach too, and we got a lot of mosquitoes for a few days, and I haven't seen any in over a week at this point. Great article about the era of affordable homes in the Yucatan has come to an end. The Yucatan is just not the deal that used to be. Yep. We've seen the prices go up a lot. Our house, which we bought during the pandemic, was a good deal. We did some fixing up and everything, but most of that's all done and it's gone up in value. And our neighbors have as well. Almost all of them, though, Mexican, almost quite a majority are either from Merida or Mexico City. So most of it is internal. Mexicans buying here because it was a deal, and now it's starting to not be a deal. So if you're needing a deal, maybe I look on somewhere else because it's starting to be a little bit of a problem here. You can still find them, especially if you're looking for smaller places and not on the beach. Absolutely. You can refer to the beginning of this episode about how you can get things to rent for under $1,000 totally in the state. I don't think that'll really ever go away. It's just that right on the beach in some really nice areas in Merida have been snatched up and pricey now. We have an historic Mexican women's softball league. It has revealed that is a total of 6 teams. This is all new, including the Leones de Yucatan, who are aiming to make history as they have in baseball. So Mexican Women's Softball League, LMS, is out. And also there's one particular team, the Amazonians, a distinctive rural who wear their traditional dress and have a Maya battle cry when they start, roaring "Mujeres fuertes," strong women. And they're famous for the fact, besides wearing their traditional outfit, but playing barefoot. And apparently it started off as just to have fun, but they've gotten quite good. And a new archetypal area, and Chichen Itza is open, and Chichen Viejo is open, and a nice little walk area that you can see new, just recently opened ruins. Still go to Chichen Itza, but you go from the parking lot, you go a different direction to go to it. And that's it for today's double episode. Thanks again for being a part of Expat Rebel. This would just not be possible without all of you. We're building a positive expat community, and we're here to help you. If you enjoyed this podcast, please leave a good review. We love hearing from you. And if you would like a weekly newsletter to go with all this, go over to expatrebel.com/newsletter. Also check out my How to Become an Expat in about 30 days over at expatrebel.com. This shares how I went from this idea of doing all this to moving to a foreign country in about 30 days, and shares, some of the mistakes I made that cost me $3,000 within the very first month. That's it for now. See you guys next time. Bye.